Hi, happy New Year's Eve. I hope everyone is enjoying this holiday. And this is Kathy Stone, and I'm here today to talk to you about the highlights of my year and some lowlights, some sad things that happened. And then I want to share with you 5 lessons that I learned this past year and that really helped me. So I'll see if anybody pops on here. And I'm just getting up my notes on my iPad. Hey, Debbie! And they're not like coming up very fast here. Oh, technology. So bear with me. Okay, so glad to have you here, Debbie. Hi. So I guess some of my biggest highlights this year were like all my trainings. I got to train with some of the best trainers and motivational speakers in the world, really. And I just feel so privileged to have had that opportunity. I did a lot of training with Brendon Burchard. I spent 18 days with him this past year. And I learned so much from him, and I would not be able to do this today without doing all the training with him and learning about courage and getting over my fears. And it's a miracle, but I learned so much from him. And then I learned so much from Bo Eason, who I trained with for a while too, the whole last year. And he really taught me that my story and who I am is really the most important thing, and that, it's important to share my story and to be generous, and that really our stories are what connects us with other people, and what, just our stories are so important, and there's no reason to be ashamed of your story, that we all have a story, and that's what really helps us. So that was such a gift for me. And then I was able to train with one of the top family recovery coaches in the country, Bev Buncher. Hey, Tracy, Happy New Year, which was incredible. She's been in family recovery for over 35 years, and she started this amazing platform for families. It's an accelerated learning platform so that families can learn things really quickly. And when it comes to addiction, you need to have the skills necessary, especially in this environment that we're living in today. So I got to do a lot of training with her as well. And then I was able to put on 3 seminars this year, 2 for food, 1 for families, and I did a 4-day, 3-night food addiction program in June that was successful. And what I just love about it so much is that I not only get to change lives, but I get to save lives. There was a woman that came to my event in June who, I don't know if she really had a drinking problem or an eating problem, but she had a drinking problem, and we were able to identify it, and she got sober, and she has been sober since June. And she did tell me that I saved her life. And I don't think it was me, because I really feel like she did the work, but I'm just the messenger. I'm just the messenger. I have the story, and I just show up. And if people come, I plant the seeds. So that's my role. But it's such a beautiful thing to be able to see people's lives change, and I love that. But I would have to say, and I got a new team member at work, Beth Bolton, who I absolutely adore. I played tennis with her, and she is helping me out at work. She's going to be a fantastic real estate agent. And she just, started with me a few months ago. But hey, Dawn, you're joining live. You're on here. This is new to me. So, but I see you. And hi, Alicia. so I got a new, so I got Beth Bolton, she's working with me, and I was able to sell, even though I was super busy, I was still able, with all my referrals and my team and everything, sell over $12 million worth of real estate this year, which is pretty amazing. And I just attribute it to the Keller Williams legacy, the tools that Keller Williams taught me, and I still need your real estate support. I would not be able to do what I do without selling real estate. And I just really need your support. I have a huge message to get out to the world, and I really need your support this year. Hey, Judy, how are you? I need your support. So all your referrals, your loyalty, everything you send me, I appreciate, and I promise you we'll take great care of people and do the best we can for them. But I appreciate all your loyalty over the years, because I would not be able to do what I do today without you. And I would say my biggest highlight of the year was being invited to the Bloomberg American Health Summit in Washington, D.C., the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg American Health Summit, which was probably one of the coolest things I've ever done in my whole life. And I'm so thankful to Dr. Eric Bass for hooking me up with the head of addiction medicine at Johns Hopkins and inviting me. It was such an honor. I learned so much, and it just makes me want to make a bigger contribution. And I will never forget it. It was, and Ed agreed. My husband, Ed, we were talking about it the other night. We were talking about like the highlights of our year, and we both said the Bloomberg American Health Summit. We were both like, we loved it. It was just so powerful. It was so cool to be there with just leaders and governors and meet all these amazing, smart people that are doing such great work and that are so dedicated and so committed to changing the world, because we have a lot of world problems right now. But it was the most powerful thing I ever went to, and I just loved it, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity. So those are my highlights, and my lowlights were having to do with death. We lost Ed's dad in March. He had dementia for several years, and we said goodbye to him in March. But the toughest thing, I guess, was losing my sister-in-law, who was just a couple years older than me. And that was really, really hard on me, watching her die. And she literally just a few months after we lost Ed's dad, she went into a coma. She was in a coma for 6 weeks, and she died on June 16th. So that was really, really hard for me. But the hardest thing, I think, was watching a mother lose a daughter. So I love Ed's mom. She's the sweetest person. My husband is very sweet, and I know that he got his sweetness from his mother. And that was really, really hard to watch. And that's why I'm so committed to my message and to carrying my message, because it's so painful to watch a parent lose a child. And there are so many parents that have lost children this year. And I was at the Fed Up rally in Washington, D.C. A few months ago, and there were hundreds of people there that have lost children, and it was very, very difficult to see that. So I want to do everything I can to break the stigma, to carry my message, to help people and help change the world, because we've got to do something. So those were my lowlights. The 5 biggest things I've learned this year are: don't give up on people. No matter how many times they've been to treatment, no matter how tough they are, because people with substance use disorder can be really tough. I know I was very stubborn and very just ridiculous in the things that I did and the way I thought, but just never give up on people, no matter how many times they've gone to treatment, just never give up. Learn how to have a healthy conversation with them. Learn how to love them and have compassion for them, because they are struggling. They are in a lot of pain, and it takes a lot of patience. And but don't ever give up on them, because where there is breath, there is life and there is hope. And you just have to keep fighting for them and believing in them and learning the difference between enabling and helping them. So that is one of the things that I learned this year. The second thing I learned was that when you look for approval from other people, you give your power away. And this has been a big issue of mine for many years, where I wanted the approval of certain people in my life to do something, and I was afraid to just go and do it on my own. And I realized the only approval that I need is my approval and God's approval. And as long as I'm doing what God wants me to do, it doesn't really matter whose approval I get. And of course, it has to be ethical and legal, but if you have God's approval and you feel like it's what God wants you to do, then you do it. You don't need anybody else's approval. But I do have a lot of support, and I am grateful for all the support that I have gotten. But I don't give my power away anymore to get people's approval. That was a huge lesson for me. My third lesson was focus on my goals and dreams and quit comparing myself to other people. For so long, I have been so focused, and with social media, it is so difficult to, you're always looking at what everybody else is doing, and maybe I'll do that, and maybe I'll do that, and it just makes you crazy. So it's just about focusing on what you want, what I want, and quit worrying about what everybody else is doing. Everybody has their own special gifts. And there's just no way that you're going to be, there's no way you're going to be able to really compete with anyone. You just have to compete with yourself. You have to compete with yourself. You have to start somewhere and and just go with that. There's no way you can compete with anybody else. There's all kinds of people out there that are just doing huge things. So you just have to be your own person and, focus on your goals and dreams. And that's what I've really done this past year. And I'm so excited for 2019 because I have these really big goals and I'm really excited about them. So number 4, you don't have to be perfect to start. And you don't be afraid to start something small. I have had tons of personal development, and I have gone to so many seminars and gotten so much help, and it's, I have to start implementing. I have to start doing videos. I have to start implementing. I have to get over all this fear. I'm going to learn as I go. I was able to see Rachel Hollis on stage this year when I was in California one time, and she talked about it. You're gonna suck basically. You're gonna start something, and you're gonna have to learn a lot. You're gonna have to start at the beginning. And I've started a lot of things in my life, in recovery. You start it and you don't know how to live without drugs and alcohol the first year. It's very awkward. You don't know how to talk to guys. You don't know how to have relationships, but you can learn. But you gotta start. And you don't have to be perfect to start. You don't have to be perfect to start. Just start. And number 5, be yourself. Be yourself. Don't conform to what everybody else is doing. Just be yourself. There's only one you, and every one of us has greatness inside of us. Every one of us has something inside of us that's great, we can offer the world. And don't be be yourself. Be authentic. That's my goal. One of my goals for 2019 is just to be myself, be authentic, be me. I've just conformed my whole life, to get people to like me, to get acceptance. And I can't do it anymore. I can't do it anymore because I just can't. It's just too hard. It's like this oppression, and I just want to bust out of that. And I just want to be me. It's just, I want to be free. I want to be me. So those are the 5 things that I've learned. I've learned a ton of other things, but those are probably the biggest things I've learned this year. So I just wanted to share everything with you, and I thank you for all your support, and I thank you for watching today, and I hope you have a wonderful, safe New Year's Eve tonight, and a Happy New Year, and I will talk to you soon.